Hey, I'm Mike Vickers. I'm from Oilfield Job Shop, and I'm here to talk to you today regarding our platform.
Mike Vickers, oilfieldjobshop.com. Let's start off with maybe a little history of the company.
Yeah, so back in 2016, I was working pretty in depth in the oil and gas sector here in Alberta, and there was a lot of uncertainty in the air. At that point, I heard layoffs were coming and really thought that I should be looking for a backup job. At that time, I found that there wasn't a whole lot out there, or if there was, it was really spread across multiple websites, and just took a whole lot of time trying to figure out where to find the job leads, who I should be talking to, where to even look. At that point, one and two clicked together and said, there's something here that I could possibly create to help thousands of people throughout the industry in North America. And that's where Oilfield Job Shop came to be, and just kind of grew from that idea into what it is today.
First story I did, I believe it was a first story. Might have been second story, but we'll just say first story for brevity's sake as I continue to speak. But was that the energy industry, this new shale boom, if you would, is going through a technology boom. Not necessarily an oil boom, but a technology boom, meaning that it was really the technology that was driving all the business behind this. Just kind of your thoughts on that.
For sure. As it keeps progressing as well, technology is just the forefront of this industry, as most companies are looking for ways to more cost efficient and ways to save money in the bottom line here. They're turning to technology. What technology can do nowadays for oil and gas companies is incredible. We've always been in kind of an old way in the oil and gas sector, and now as we introduce new technology, it's only going to boom from this, I believe, resulting in a big boom for the technology sector itself.
70% of the industry is supposed to be retired by 2022-ish, right around that time. And obviously that means that there's some seasoned veterans in the industry. Technology is one of those things that requires people to change. What type of experience did you go through with either, your day-to-day life or this secondary oil field job shop as you were building that up on the side? Just that technology bridge that you saw coming through the industry, is it catching on? Is there still some resistance happening? The old dog new tricks thing is where I'm coming from.
No, for sure. As it keeps progressing, we're seeing, like you said, 2020, we're going to see a lot more people getting out of the industry, retiring, so to say. A lot more of the younger generation is coming into the industry, which is great for us as well. A lot of huge people that are big in technology, they have a background growing up within the technology sector. So as we become more pushed towards a technology-driven oil and gas sector, we're going to see a huge incline of people, younger generations coming in that are already caught up to a lot of standards. It's going to be pretty big, I believe.
What are some things about Oilfield Job Shop that you want people to walk away from the interview knowing?
Pretty much we're here to help people and help guide them to proper job leads to their area. The big ones that are complete company hiring, different positions that can relate to those guys. We're building this platform. We just scaled a new website. It's out there now. We're looking to build it up to something even bigger. We want people to put trust within us to really help push them to the next big job leads for their area. Social media is now huge in looking for jobs nowadays. You look at Facebook and they just added a new job platform on there as well. There's just a huge new correlation to jobs and online sector. So we're trying to establish a really great trusted system here where people can come to us and really look for their next job.
Any final thoughts? Anything we left out? Anything you want to reiterate? Anything that you want to make sure that people understand when it comes to either yourself, the company, the website, or maybe you've got a good chili recipe? I don't know.
Cooking is something I've grown to love, that's for sure. Being shift work 10 and 10 now, it's a huge passion that came to the side. As in terms of the website, in Canada, I'm optimistic of where the industry is going. So a solid website that is related to oilfield jobs is very much needed in Canada. Texas is booming right now. I can see foreseeable future and just inclining. So there's always going to be a need for a massive oil and gas job website there, and that's something that we want to make sure that we get covered. I think Oilfield Job Shop is going to grow hugely over the next 12 to 24 months. We're seeing new employers jump on daily. We're getting our posts out there. It's going everywhere. It's working for a lot of companies, and we see a huge growth potential here for not only us, but for the industry in general. We can really help people get these jobs that they need and just get them back to work or get them to grow within the next job they need. So the more people we can help, the better we'll all be in the end.
Kind of end question, I guess, sidebar here. Final question. Update from Canada. How are things up there? I mean, I only see the headlines. I haven't physically been up there to see everything, but, it depends on which source I read and which blog and which paper and which news source. So I usually try to ask people if they know how business is going up there, if there's any hot spots. Because, even in America, I mean, it depends on the price point and depends on the geography and it depends on the companies. And there's a lot of different variables that go into different shale plays. So
for sure, like in Canada right now, the conventional side of the industry here is hurting. It has been. Winter, it's picking up a little bit, of course, because drilling season has occurred, but it's slowed down a lot over the years. Since 2016, I've seen just a decline on the conventional side. I was in the oil sands, different kind of industry up here, but that's a huge influx of tax dollars and just a whole industry generation within the oil sands. That's something that continues to keep pushing ahead. New projects are pushing ahead. Our biggest restrictions are pipelines and the ways to get our oil and gas to markets. So basically, we have to figure that out first and foremost. I think if we can get pipelines into the ground, more expansions on our existing pipelines, and if we can get our product to international markets, then Canada could be a huge boom. But it's just a matter of making that happen at this point. There's a lot of uncertainty at this point.
I was going to ask you about the pipelines, and you brought that up about how they're needed, but the problem is getting them in the ground. And then you mentioned the word uncertainty. Can I ask you, do they know what the uncertainty is? Is it the price? Is it the environmentalists? Is it the market? As far as I know, that it seems like the market's out there for it.
For sure. Like if you look at the amount of oil we have in the ground here and the amount of oil sand product that we can produce, like it's huge. It's very vast. We're one of the biggest countries in the world that can handle these kind of things, but getting it out is our problem. So I mean, the market is there for it. The uncertainty basically comes from the environmentalists and the people behind that are putting a stop on this. I think Canada is kind of divided completely against this industry right now. There's a lot of uncertainty stemming from this. Canada, the whole, pretty much is trying to push this through federally, but then provincially, we're looking at being landlocked in Alberta. Alberta being the pretty much oil and gas sector and capital of Canada. We have BC next to us that is just pushing hard to make sure this pipeline doesn't go to the coast, and I think that is one of the biggest restrictions that we currently hold. If we can get past that and they can kind of jump on board with Alberta and create a solution, it will only make Canada really push ahead for just generations to come. If we went east, it could be huge for us, but we have the eastern provinces, the same thing. They're landlocking us here as well. It's just, I think the provincial divide within Canada right now is putting the huge restrictions on this pipeline.
All right, one last time, what's that website?
That's going to be Oilfield Job Shop. Be sure to check that out. It's going to only grow. More jobs coming daily, and it's going to be your spot for your next job or job lead.